Hi guys, welcome to the flight today in the Airbus A340-600 from Toliss, and we are down in Zurich and we're going to be doing a flight to Pristina International Airport down in Kosovo with Edelweiss, and we're going to be taking off from Zurich on our way down, flying for a flight level of 400, so we should be going very high today. See, the weather is not very good, visibility is limited as we get ready for our departure, so don't forget to like and subscribe guys, help us get to that 2k subscriber goal. And now we can get inside the cockpit and start this lovely Airbus up, ready to... Here we are now in the Airbus A340, as we can see we've got lovely panels everywhere, we've got all the views covered so we can go anywhere in the cockpit. So we go overhead now. I'm going to get the batteries which will go on, we get the APU bat which is on, we get both externals on, and as we said before, it's basically lights out. So we're going to light everything up, get all the lights out on all the systems. Isolation valves can go on, the GPWS can all go on along with the crew supply. You can get the recorder which can go on as well, and get the APU master switch on. We can arm the emergency lights which will be checked, get our beacons on, put nav 1 on as well, start the APU up, and we should be all ready to leave. APU bleed will go on and then transfer over once APU comes to life, which you should then hear the packs come on. So we'll go in and get everything all done. Let's get the IRSs in as well, as we won't get a double failure like we did on the first flight out where we lost the IRS on the second display. So we go down into the FMC now. I've got the route already set, so we don't need to mess about and sit tight waiting for it. We can basically just get everything all punched in and get ready to leave. So put the FMC over onto the side. We've got our loading performance here, everything is all loaded and ready to go. So we're going to our initial and on for the routing clearance that we're going to put in for the company route. We've got Zurich, which is Lima Sierra Zulu Hotel, and we've got Bravo Kilo Papa Romeo, that's going to be 01. That'll be in on the company route. We can insert that. Flight number is going to be 2254. Passengers we've got is 316. Going for a cost index of 90. Cruise is going to be 400. As we come down for the IRS, we can align that on rev, which is confirmed. We'll go down and get the departure in, as we need to get that all ready, so then we can get the perf and everything all set up. So we're going to be leaving runway 34. We're going to be departing out on the Dejas 4 hotel. So we've got the Dejas 3 hotel. Maybe the navigraph needs updating, so we'll say it's the Dejas 3 hotel. Can insert that, which is checked. We're going to go down to the initial now and get everything all set. So 0 fuel weight 243.5, and 0 fuel weight center of gravity is 18.9, which is in and checked. Takeoff config, got 2 on for the block. We've got 46.8, and that is us all ready and configured. We'll hit the perf now. We've got 159 for V1, 160 for rotate, and we've got 167 for V2. Trans altitude 7000. We're going for flaps 2, which is going to be up 4.6. Flex temp is going to be 44, and that is us pretty much now ready to go guys. So we are now just waiting for the IRS. We don't need none of that now, as all the systems and flight plans are all regulated and ready to go. On for the destination. The arrival for the destination is going to be the Xan 35 Alpha. We're going to be arriving on runway 35. So looks like we'll be taking down, we've got the VORs which are there, and ILS 17. So we'll come down for 17, as it will just make life that little bit easier for us. And for 17 coming down, we just edit up onto the flight, the arrival for 17, which is going to give us down here the Xan 17B. So there's the exam one, and we're just going to basically leave that as it is, which should be fine. We take the digi in, insert that, and if we go down onto our routing, once the IRS is aligned, 4 minutes to go, then we should be all ready to go. So turbo damp is on, everything overhead seems to be fine. We've got all of our electrics and that set. We can go in and get all of our panel lighting set, and then once the IRS becomes aligned, we can then check out the route and make sure that it is all right and according to plan. So we'll get all of our lights on, we get the eCam lights on, etc. Get all underneath the MCP, and the IRS will be aligned in 3 minutes time. So as the APU now is available, the APU bleed should be on, we should be able to get rid of the externals, we should then switch over onto the buses, and now we should be running over onto the APU, which we can check. So we can see the APU is available now, and it is fired up, ready to go. And then we're going to basically take a left-hand turn.
Okay,
come round.
All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect, set, parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set, predictive wind shear can go on and checked. Everything else can get set, system 1 can go on, floodlights can come on, and everything is all ready to go. We'll get the METARs just as we push off. As we haven't got a lot of visibility. So 1022, which is checked and cross-checked on either side. Overhead the aircraft is ready to go. Seatbelt signs can now go on. All our no smokings, which are set. Can ding the cam Intl, then we are ready to go.
Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, so parking brake is released.
Starting pushback, and you may start the engines.
Okay, engine start, go to ignition start. Check down on the eCam. Get the engines ready, and we'll go for engine number 4 and number 3. So we see N2's coming to life now for engine number 3 and 4, and we'll go outside and take a closer look. Okay, we can see number 2, number 3 and 4 are in, so we go for engine number 1 and 2. So engine number 1 and 2 are now in, they are all switched over and set to go. So engine start can go back to normal overhead now, we can get the window heats on, the APU can go off, it should switch itself off which will be fine and set. Tugs are now going to stop us.
Operation complete. Please set parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
So for the METARs we've got 1022 which is set. We've got 8 degrees down on the temperature, so just about 7. 6,000 meters visibility, few clouds at 600 feet and broken at 700. Winds are variable at 2 knots. Temperature's 8, the dew point is 6.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. I'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
See you soon, bye. So we did taxi on the runway. We're going to pull out anyway of the stand and then basically do a 180 out off this left hand turn, and then we should be ready to come in. So as we go down to our before taxi checklist, we get everything all up. So signs are all on, ADRS is on nav, fuel quantity is checked. We're going to do our before takeoff, which will be set. And get our flaps down, which is going to go into a flaps 2, which will be set and checked. Takeoff config, we'll get everything all done. So we can arm the spoilers, we can get the RTO on for the speed brake. And we've got the takeoff config, which is normal and checked. Well, it wasn't the speed brake, it'll be for the auto brake. As it is 7, everything should be all good for us to go. So I'm going to put the runway turn off on for the camera. Nose can go down to nose, and we can release the brake, and we can taxi on down to runway 34. It's got a nice idle power anyway, this aircraft. So basically going to turn around, take a left down onto Echo, and then enter in onto Echo 9, which will then be 434. So we're going to take this left hand turn. Then we'll swing a straight left onto Echo, follow it all the way down, and we should be all ready and set to leave. As we make this left hand turn now onto Echo, we're going to follow it all the way down. Now we'll be all set in for runway 34. As we ride it through, we're going to take a left. Aircraft's lovely, we've got a flex temp of 44 on the departure route. 1022 on the reserve, and we can see that we've got the VORs in as well. Swing this a left hand turn, and then all we've got to do is just go straight down to the end, which will be us then ready for 34. As that is a nice little feature of the Airbus. You don't need to worry about trimming and adjusting. The auto trim is practically done for you. So as we take a big right hand turn and swing in for Echo 9, we're rolling through the hold short. Yeah, we'll then get the aircraft lined up. We'll switch the strobes on once we've lined up, just ready to go over. Okay. And we'll take as much runway as we can. So we've got the strobes, which are all on and checked. Nav's going to go to nav 2, nose will be on for takeoff in just a few moments time. As we line up on runway 34 now. So here we are, runway 34, which is all set and checked for us. We can have a look on the restrictions coming out of the departure. We're pretty much going to roll out of the runway, as we can see at Zurich. I'm going to follow it all the way up and then take a right hand turn onto the 074 by ATC 5000 above Zurich, the 110.15, which will be heading down onto the 074 radial. So we've got everything all set here. We've got 400, which we're going up for, which is also checked and set. We can go overhead now. Landing lights can go on, nose can go to takeoff. Cabin has been advised, APU bleed is off, and we are ready to go. So we can release the parking brake and go up to 40%. And toga. So manual flex, SRS, runway, nav blue, and thrust is set. Airspeed live. Full pressure on the column. .100 knots, neutral. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. So as you follow the flight director now, manually flying the aircraft for the time being. Let's just make minor corrections as we've got a little bit of rough air in the vicinity. As we're going to go through the clouds now, then we'll be getting ready to make that right hand turn. We'll be waiting for a lever climb so we can go into our climb speed, and then we'll revert the thrust back just a little so they can click in. So the aircraft handles very lovely, like we're flying it right now manually, and there's not really a lot of input coming in, which is absolutely great. So we'll see lever climb now as we go back. Can just lower the nose just slightly as we nose down just to pick up back on for our speed, as the thrust is going to be reduced, and we're going to get ready for that right hand turn as we blast through the clouds, and now passing through 3004 up to our flaps 1, and as we go into that left hand turn, as we come through now, holding on for 210 as we go into that right hand turn, as we want to break through. It's very enjoyable actually flying this aircraft manually, as again you don't have to worry about trimming. So as we're just holding up now for 210, of the aircraft back over. As we're still on the flaps 1F, you can see our slats are down. That's just moving the aircraft through 5,000 to 7,000 is transition, and as I am happy now, we can turn on the autopilot, and how lovely is that? The aircraft stays exactly where it is, no adjusting. That is one good feature. I do like the Airbuses, but when you're flying the Boeings, there's more to do, there's more things to do. When you've been doing that for so long and then you come through onto an Airbus, it's actually nice to sit back, relax and enjoy the views, knowing that the aircraft's going to take full care of everything on board. So we're just holding that restriction 210 as we come through, as we've got that decel that will roll in. Then once we come up, as you see, we've got 210 which will already be in, and we'll be waiting for our flaps. So 210, which is mandatory for flight level 81. So until we pass this right hand turn, then we'll go up to flight level 96, which will then work us all the way up to flight level 400. So that is the highest altitude I've been in with the any of the aircrafts on X-Plane. So we go to standard QNH 10132992, which is all in and set. As we go into that lovely left hand turn now, and the aircraft should then start to speed up, and we'll go to our slab retraction. as we move up now through our slats, we're passing now near to 10,000 feet. Landing lights can go off, runway tunnels can go off, the nose can go off, which is all checked and set. Passenger signs we can turn off for now. And as we rise up, we are now on our way to lovely Kosovo, to Pristina International Airport. So here is our route all the way over, as we all went to Sabab, and then we roll through. So as soon as we are now on our departure, guys, we can go to our after takeoff checklist. NTIS as required, we can get the engine NTIS on, which is checked. ECAM status, which we can check as well, is normal. Going on to that left hand turn now, as we fire around bend and we break off to Kolu, and then we'll be at flight level 8,000 above for Dejes as we come through 11,000 feet. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to leave you with the takeoff cinematics for the Airbus A340, and once we come back, we'll then be at our top of descent at flight level 400 and ready to come down into Pristina Airport for the ILS 417 and the 17 arrival, which will basically come from Exanin for 6,000 from 10, and then we get down to the localizer for the VOR, break away onto the right and swing round onto that left hand turn onto the 173. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you back in the cockpit when it's time for us to start our top of descent. Hi guys, welcome to the flight deck as we are at flight level 400 and we are ready to start that descent down. So I'm going to plug down in for 10,000 feet for our start of our initial descent. We can see that the descent for top of descent is right within reach now, as we are around 10 nautical miles and we're just within. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull the button to send us into the descent, and the aircraft now can start its descent from flight level 400. As we start now to move, we can get the seatbelt signs, which can go all on and checked. No smoking is all on, which is set for us. Window heats, etc. are on, and we also have the engine anti-ice, which are on and checked. Temperature up at 400 is minus 36, minus 27, or it's minus 56, one of the two. The TAT, I think, is what's on the aircraft. The SAT is outside, so minus 56, and the aircraft's body is minus 27. So as we leave now flight level 400 on our way down to lovely Kosovo today. First time we've ever flown there on the channel. First time we've flown with Edelweiss and the A340-600. So all good things happening today. So be sure to stay with us on this descent as we pass through flight level 390. On the arrival down, we're going to be hitting Exanin, which is going to be intercepting down for the 330. Be 21.5 from the Papa Romeo Tango, which is the VOR, and we've also got in the localizer, which is the 110.1. That's on for the arrivals, and we can see there the 173 is what we're going to track onto. So once we get to the Pristina VOR, we're going to make a right hand turn and then swing around onto the 173, so the Papa Romeo Tango, which is the 1133, So for our destination, we've got everything all in there. Destination's already been set. We said 17. We said over on the IXEG by 17 Alpha, transitioning through, which is all set. Coming in for the arrival, the flight plan discontinuity, we can switch over and let that all fly in as we start our descent now. By level 370 now, just passing down as we start to make that lovely descent down into Kosovo. We can see just without on range, we are 73 nautical miles from Gosti, where we then make that left-hand turn to come through, already in our descent, and then we'll be starting our mandatory altitude constraints as we come through. Our constraints, we've got 6,000 feet for the VOR, where we then start that descent for the Delta 017 November, which will then bring us down to 4006, which will get the aircraft fully aligned and configured. Even for the nav radio, we've got the Papa Romeo Tango, which we want is the 1133. Which is set, and we'll be coming inbound to that onto the 330. Okay, which is in. We've got a 110.1 for the 171. As we can see, the 110.1, and it's going to be the 173. And for our landing performance, we can have a look. So we are in the descent phase as we are coming down. QNH, we get the meters for Kosovo. QNH is going to be 1025. Temperature is going to be 10. Winds are 00, so they're just weather for the winds. There's no clouds below 1500 meters and no cumulonimbus as well. So we're going to be taking a full config. MDA coming through on the arrival. As we break through at 5,000 feet, it's going to be 231 for a 2025 MDA. So there's the MDA, there's 156. So we can see we've got terrain at 8008 and 4009. As we come through, we'll make that left-hand turn from Gosti to Burek, then we'll go to Exen, and then we'll make that left-hand turn, which is going to bring us all the way around into the runway, as we can see, and then we're just about, you can see we're going to break away onto that right-hand turn. Should be a nice approach. First time coming down into Kosovo, passing through flight level 250, we're going to transition off. Down on the runway, transition is going to be for 10,000 feet, so we can put 10,000 feet in. 130, which is already in and checked. Everything else is already set, and we are ready for the arrival. Gosti, 31 nautical miles away before we swing into that left-hand turn, where we'll go on to the 330, and that will take us down, holding 10,000 feet. Dropping down to 6 before we reach down, and then once we break onto the 017, we'll then 14 DME from the VOR. We're then going to make that left-hand turn to intercept down onto the 173. So you can see there is a little bit of turbulence, a little bit of rough air just passing through. As we have Kosovo in our sights over to our left, we're going to be braking around right around here to come in for the airport. Everything down there that you can display is normal. We go down onto the engines, everything's looking lovely on the engine display as we pass through. Currently now -8 as we start to descend through. We've got TAT and SAT. Passing through 225, and we can admire this lovely Airbus A340 now. I know I said that I wouldn't fly the Airbuses, but as they say never, And seeing as the A340 has never been seen on X-plane, i.e. we've got the 737s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 777s, 8s, and we've even got the 72s. But the A340, that's one thing we haven't seen. JAR done the 330, Toliss done the 1918, etc. But this A340 is very nice indeed, very, very nice. Speed restrictions coming through. We should be alright on speed restrictions, as I can't seem to see any at the moment. VOR and DME required, which we're going to have anyway. And we've got the altitude steps if our glide slope was out. 5,000 feet, 13 DME from the Papa Romeo Sierra. We're then going to hold it down and then get ready to come in for the 110.1. Just passing through 20,000 feet. As we ride, we've got 318. Start slowing down by the time we get right near to the VOR, 252, and then down to 6. So we'll be coming in very nice. That'll be our breakaway. We'll start going down to 224, so we can let the aircraft manage the speed all the way down. I'll take manual control of the auto throttle once we disconnect the autopilot, as the one thing that I do see quite a lot with the Airbus, obviously the thrust is managed, and obviously retard, you pull back for the flare. But the one thing that I don't like with allowing the auto throttle to command speed on the approach, if we got blustered up a little and we nosed down, the aircraft will exactly thrust down to compensate for the speed. When you're coming down to the flare, if the aircraft is just a few knots under speed, which is really good for real life, it will compensate and obviously power up. But as you're coming in for a flare, until you hear retard and then you throttle back, that's the main reason for the floats. That is the obvious reason. The aircraft's just throttled up, you've powered back, you're going a little bit extra on the speed, where it's just compensated, and then you flare and you float. It's as simple. So I like to have manual control, just like in the Bones. You know, you have manual control down, and whilst having that manual control, we can actually be in control of what we want to do. So we're just passing 18,000 now. We're going to go on to a left-hand turn, which is going to then bring us down, ready to intercept for Xenon, which is going to be for the arrival star. So here comes that left-hand turn. Lovely swooping in around just above 20 degrees. We've got 6,000, which is programmed into the FMC, the MCP. Passing through 16,007, 10,000 feet. We'll be sticking on for 1025 for Pristina. As the aircraft's doing a lovely job of handling everything on our way down. The arrival is going to be 161. There's Xenon now, which will be for 10,000 feet. Everything's all on and checked, navs are all on, and we are ready for the arrival. Passing through 15,600. Xenon now is in range, as we can see, and winds are meant to be calm down on the runway for runway 17. And as winds are variable, 3-knot variable direction, we'll take 17, which will be fine for us today. Passing through 12,004, we can see as we come through we need to be for 10,000 down to 6. We're going to start slowing the aircraft down as we reach down near to the VOR, which is going to be the Papa Romeo Tango. And once we get down to the Papa Romeo Tango, we've got 252, which is set, and we're all ready to go. So as we go into this left-hand turn, passing through 11.6, we're going to go to 2025, passing 10, as we make our final left before our intercept coming down onto runway 17. So 10's coming in now, hit 1025, which is in, and set and checked. Now as we head straight on for the VOR, we are just 5.2 nautical miles from the Delta 150 Victor. And then as we roll it through, we've then got the VOR, which is right here. We're going to make a right hand turn and then make a full left, and you can see our mandatory altitude constrictions, or altitude constraints, as we come round onto that descent. So we are going to be level off. We've got 6,000 in. As we come in for the approach, we're going to be intercepting for 4,500 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the hundreds, 4,005, which is in and checked, just passing through now, holding for 10,000 feet. We're starting our decel now for 250, landing lights can come on, which are checked, get the runway turn-offs on afterwards, and we can advise the cabin now, ready to come in. Now leave 8,000 feet coming down into 6. We're going to start that next further descent for 6,000, which we've got the altitude constraint for the VOR, which is the Papa Romeo Tango, where we'll break away onto the 017. There'll be our speed decel, our decel speed, which will come down in for around 222. That's just before the 17 November, and then we'll intercept left, which will then bring us around and in. So what we can do is we can quickly just check over on our progress for the approach, and we'll get the METARs, just a quick updated one, as we just updated them recently. Got 1021 now, 21 now, which is in. Temperature still 15, 10 kilometers or more visibility, no clouds below 1500 meters, and winds are 160 at 5. So we're coming down for 6,000 feet. We're going to break away onto that left-hand turn, which is then going to take us around onto the right, passing through 6,006. QNH is 1021, which is set and cross-checked. We've got seatbelts on, ground spoilers are armed, no smokings are on. Put these seatbelts to auto. Coming down, we've got the landing lights, which are on. We get the runway turn-offs on once we're down on the approach. Making that left turn out onto the 017. We will now follow through, holding at 6,000 feet. .250 will decel just before the left turn, and then we'll go down to our clean speed. Then we'll drop into our slat retraction, and we'll drop into configuration 1 as the aircraft is going to decel down for around 1,500 feet to make in for the arrival. So we can see the altitude constraint 6,000, then we'll be going down to 5,000, which will be in and set. Coming down 6,000, and then we'll swing all the way down to 4,006. Which will be all in and good for us to go. So right through will be at 6,000, then we'll drop down to 5, and we'll let the aircraft take care of everything that it needs to do. So everything is all configured, no smokings are on. Get the seatbelts fully on, which are checked. Everything overhead lights out, which is clear. Landing system we can now turn on. We can see that we're just passing from the airport. We are 4 nautical miles outbound from the airport's localizer, which is the 110.1, which we've got in on the nav, the 171, coming on the 3 degree for the 110.1, which is also in and checked. So we're going to hold 6,000 feet. There's our decel point, and then we'll start to descend down through our next part of the descent process. So on the intercept, we'll see if we can get anything in here. So we could put 4,005, and then we've got 5,000, which we're going to come down to. On the speed, which will be 220, which we can then put in, which will be SAP. So there's 5,000 on the intercept turn. We'll get 4,000 in, and we can put that down to 180. So that's all checked. So that should be managed descent coming down. We're going to start to decel on our speed. As we can see, the decel. And there's our intercept onto the left, and we can see that we've got our altitude constraints, and we put in some speed constraints as well. So there's the decel now coming down to our clean speed as the aircraft starts to slow down. Slowing down to 230. – 4,500 feet, which is in. As we get ready to go on to that intercept turn. So there is the left-hand turn now. As we start our descent down, we're going to go down for 5,000 feet just around. Because we're at 6,000, 4.5, so 1.5 to go. So as the aircraft now starts to descend down to 5,000 feet, can arm the localizer, which is armed in blue. ECAM is all good for us, we can check that out. So system is normal. Passing through 5,005, and what we'll do on this flight is we will let the autopilot maintain our speed, so we'll leave the auto throttles on, as the Airbus should have the auto throttles on, and we'll see how we go. So there's 5,000 on the altitude constraint. We're going to drop in now to a flaps 1 configuration, which will release our slats.
$2,500.
Check. So the localizer is in. Just waiting for it to activate. Altitude's acquired, 4,500 feet. 1021, which is checked. Ground spoilers are armed. There's the localizer coming in, so the aircraft will move over to intercept now and line itself up. As you see, we've got some choppy weather now, up to 9-10 knots. Just 4,500 feet. We can get the approach in now as the glide slope's above. Pre-armed in blue, which is checked. Currently now 13.1 DME, and we should be down on the arrival. So there we are now, 13 DME just crossing. And we're going to then drop to 4,006, 4,005. We're already at 4,005, so we don't need to worry about that. Up to our slat speed. And just when the glide slope starts to come to life, we can then get fully configured. Localizers coming in. Go down into a flap setting number 2. You can also put on our runway turnoffs. Nose can go to nose. Everything else is all set for the arrival. hold around 187 for flaps configuration 2. We're coming down for a full config, as we can see, and we've got a 155 on the approach. So glide slope's coming in now. As we can see, the magenta diamond on the right hand side of the PFD. Okay, goes with flaps configuration 3, and gear can go down. Auto brake's going to be set to max. 9 DME away, and we're going to start the descent, which was at 8.5. Glide slope's fully in and locked, and gear is down full green.
2,500.
2,500, which is checked. Can now tell the cabin. Only 7.2 DME. Cabin's ready. And we'll go down to a full config.
2,000.
2,000, so landing checklist, got landing gear which is down full green. Cabin signs are on, cabin is ready, we've got spoilers which are armed, and flaps are fully set. ECAM display is normal, and we are fully configured for the ILS approach now. As we let the aircraft come down, we're coming in for a 200 on the decision. And now we are fully set to come in. So what I'm going to do is, so we can get a bit of flying, we're going to take off the autopilot. Going to leave the auto throttle in, and we are going to fly like an Airbus is flown. So we'll keep control of the glide slope. It is a lot stable having the auto throttle in. It's a lot smoother as well on the aircraft. I can notice that straight away.
1,000.
1,000 check. It's a lot stable as well with the glide slope. On the magenta diamond, we're staying right bang just near to the centre as the aircraft's compensating everything for us. So as we just lift up a little, we'll then get a little bit of power in as the aircraft will contemplate to hold the speed that we're coming down in. Two red, two white.
500. 400. 300.
100 above.
200.
Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Okay. Speed brakes are up. And reversers are active. Full pressure on the column. 80 knots reversers can be stowed. 60 knots manual brake. And there we are, guys, down in Pristina International Airport. It was a little bit bumpy on the arrival, as we need to get used to this aircraft, the second flight. But I'm sure we'll figure it out. So as we come through now, ground spoilers can be turned off. Flaps can be fully retracted now. As we come down to the end of the runway, and we get ready to taxi off. So that was our flight into Pristina International Airport, guys. In just a few moments' time, I'll leave you with the landing cinematics, and then we can see exactly what went down. So we're going to vacate to the right. Flaps are fully retracted. So as we come over the hold, we'll basically make a left-hand turn, and once we make that left-hand turn, we can then get the aircraft fully configured to come in. So just passing over the hold now, we can get the runway turn-offs off, landing can go off, we can get our strobes which are off, nav to 1 there. Landing cinematics, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, let's get to that 2k subscriber goal, and I'll see you all of it in for the next available flight on the channel. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you all very soon.